So here we go. Here's where we're at. I got a wireless mic, so hopefully things are gonna start sounding a little better and more consistent. So we got these boards at the Homeless Death Spot, pre-primered. I think they're pine or something. Anyway, this is gonna be my 2 sideboards. And then I have not fully figured out what we're gonna do on the front yet, or the sides. No, I got the sides, sorry, I'm an idiot. On the front or the back, I'm not sure 100% what we're gonna do yet, so we'll have to figure that one out. So one of these on each side, and then something for the top. I'm not a carpenter, I've said this before, but I just want to reiterate, it's not my forte. See if we can get this pounded over on the bottom at all. A bit more. That's pretty good. All right. Put one screw in and then I'll square everything up, or try to anyway. There we go. Wow. She's way to the square down here. God damn it. You gotta have clamp hands for this. Or you could actually buy clamps, there's another idea. Not the world's best worker of the wood. I'll leave that to the pros. What I've done so far. So I built the walls first, you know, I built the frame. It's mostly centered up there, as you can see. I built this yesterday. I had this bottom triangle section here already done. I was thinking about leaving this front gate down, but I like it better closed in. It pinches it all in. I figure why not use that. I talked to another guy who saw sort of the basics of the trailer without the walls on, and he seemed to think that it'd be a better idea to leave this up as well. That's what I'm going with for the time being. The back's gonna be the door right here. So next thing is I gotta cut these. I measured them, they're 36 by 44. I gotta do the floor in here before I mount anything else. I want to put a piece of plywood in here so that we have something resembling a floor. So we can just, I'm not going to cover this obviously, so we can just reach through and leave some stuff in here. So maybe we just come out from these studs, that'd be the easiest way. So I'm just going to do it like this. So I'm just marking the bottoms, kind of centering it out in the studs. There we go. All right. All right, we drilled. We did some major drilling. You know, 2 holes, drilling 2 holes at once. How do you do that? I don't know. Don't ask me. No idea. Ask your dad, he'll tell you. Hand me that screw. Thank you. I need to cut a triangle to fit in here. 1, 11 and a half, 52, 16 3/4. We'll go right in the middle of 51. Now 50 3/4, so what's that, 25 3/8? So 16 3/4. Can you tell I don't really do carpentry? 7.5 to 9.5, 3.5. How's she growing, eh? Little to the left, I don't know. 7, I hear ya. Well, I'm not happy. I lost a bunch of footage, which is really annoying because I spent a lot of time building this damn thing, and the whole point was to make a video about it. I need to seal up the cracks that you can very clearly see, except for the one in the top middle, because we're going to put roofing over the top of this, metal roofing, because it's cheap, that's why. No other reason. I thought I was going to do this cheaply. Not possible. Everything's too expensive during boner virus. I don't know if you can say that on YouTube, that's why I didn't say it. I sort of said it, but I said boner. I know. Weird. Somehow that'll probably be acceptable, especially if you label it a children's video, because that's how YouTube operates. We support child molesters, just not anybody who thinks differently than us. What's that say about you? I gotta build a back for this. I thought I was gonna have to get more wood, but apparently my wood that I have left might actually be adequate, which would be nice. I'm going to leave a window style hole in it. I have not decided whether the wood's going to go on the back or the front yet. In some ways, it'd be nicer on the back. I wouldn't have to, then I could actually put a little drip thing over the top, because I'd like to put some windows on this. The other thing I need to do is finish screwing all these boards on. You see I got a few screws, but not really an adequate amount. You know, mostly just on the corners and the edges, because it was raining all day yesterday while I was making this. I went and bought 2 sheets of plywood, but being that this is a, what is it? Guys, you know what this is? 5x8 trailer. Building everything is going to cost more money because your sheets of plywood are 4x8s. You have to use full sheets of plywood to cut 3 feet off on the edges, and then, so, but I got lucky, and it, even with my slight slope here, it ended up being just right. And I didn't actually, I mean, you got some, you know, little spaces, but I don't care that much about that. It's all going to be covered in. And it's got a little vent. Here's my vent. That's what I'm calling it. If you don't like it, too bad. All right. So I'll get back to you as soon as I figure out what the hell we're going to do first. I'll probably do this door later. Work on the boxes and sealing everything up first of all. All right, so I just want to show you guys something. I'm going to do some caulk. I haven't figured out what I'm going to do for the roof quite yet, but if you don't know what you're doing, cut your caulk on an angle and you'll find you can get a much nicer bead. You don't want to cut it straight across. You're going to end up with a nasty looking. Helps if you have a sharp blade too. I don't, so that's not very helpful. I'm going to start at the front, I think. I'm trying to think of the best way to do this. Now that I'm looking at it, I feel like a solid piece would have been the best way to do this, but I don't think I have enough to do a completely solid piece anymore. So I put some edging on, or I mean some drip, whatever the hell it's called. Drippity drip drip. You see, it's hard to see in here, but if you can see, when I ran the front up, I ran it up further so that it's overhanging the back. So this is here to prevent rain from driving in from this side when we're parked. That's what the cap's for. The overhang is for when we're driving down the road. If water's hitting this, it's going to be driven up underneath here, and instead of just going into the crack, it's going to come all the way over. It's going to have to either go all the way up here and drop off onto the back and then go out. There's a lot of stupid things to think of when you're trying to build something that's going to be waterproof when it's sitting and waterproof when you're towing. There's the roof. If I did it again, if I had it to do over, I'd just put single pieces all the way up. The other troubling thing is how much water is going to be driven under these cracks while we're driving. I'm hoping not a ton because of the Jeep. I'll probably go up under there with some sealer, at least on the front and all these gaps, and just fill it with sealer. I'm going to caulk this edge here. Would have been better off if I would have notched my walls, because there's some heads of round bolts that stick up underneath this where the metal goes to hold in these boards. Just to get a look at the inside, because I lost the footage for the framing. But all I really did was I took a couple things into consideration. You'd probably be, if you were going to do this yourself, you'd probably be better off making your walls a little bit taller. 2x3 walls, like I said, 44 inches from the top stud to the bottom, so these runners or whatever you call them are 41 inches. Put another board there because before I had a square back here, but I ended up taking it out yesterday because the lawn tractor that I needed to pick up was a little bit too wide. Having another 2x4 right here made it a tiny bit too wide, so I came up with some other ideas about sealing in this back end yesterday, but anyway, there's going to be boxes and lights that are going to go in here. Alright, so on to the next issue, where we're going to have a problem. You can see under here, this is all just regular wood, not primered or anything, which I probably should have done before I built it, but nonetheless, here we are. I was thinking about using Duct Seal HVAC product. I have a tendency towards those types of things. Right here, duct sealed under here, just for some extra waterproofing. Next, I gotta do this back here. So right now, this thing closes, and it slides under this piece right here. I thought about putting boards down the sides, right here, as like a pinch point type of thing to make sure that that gets centered in there every time that you close it. Put that in there, so when this closes, it just gets centered every time. Call it 35. Remember to put your screws right into a knot. That's what I was taught. Alright, so I gotta go get some bolts to run through here. I'm gonna cut, that's gonna be for a window. Wow, it's already hot as shit in here. Here we go. So I actually doubled up those 2x4s down here so that when I close it, it sort of seals up square with the back, so I didn't have a weird gap in there. But we're definitely gonna have to put some handles in here to pull this closed. Oh, also when I added the 2x4s, I put these strips on here so it's not quite as gaudy looking. I'll probably just get a close color match for that paint. I thought also about finishing this down here, adding a couple more 2x4s here to bring it out, and then I have enough of this left to do right here. We got one window in, so I got a couple windows to put on the sides here with some long donger because I think they'll look better. 32 by 15 and a half. The only issue is obviously can't just slam this thing down. It does still sit on here. She was concerned it was going to hit, but it doesn't. It doesn't even really hit these bolts here, which stick out quite a bit. I got to get in there and start cutting. We're going to put a window in both sides, obviously. Probably roughly centered. So we put in some 32 by 16, 32 by 15 and a quarter windows down the sides. I drilled a hole and put a plug. I shouldn't have bought cable this big, but I thought in the future maybe I'd wire it for 12 amps or whatever. So you can see it down there. I'm going to put 3 plugs in. One there, one here. Put our plug in now. Gold screws are your hot side, or the smaller one is going to be your hot. I'm done. Excuse-moi. I am done. It's done. Nice lighting too. There we go. I'm happy. Happy as I can be. Happy as a turd in winter. Happy as a bird in a turd. I got to, let me pull this Let me show you this here. Here's the plugs. There's the light switch. I put a light on each side. Plugs up there. There's the door. I'll put some hooks up here for this damn rope so it doesn't get in the way. It's not the most ideal solution, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Just put these hooks in here for the time being. And there you go. Wendy's. So this is a thermostat. And it's a thermostat that controls this little plug. So that's how I'll control the heat in here if it gets cold. There we go. You guys got the full tour. There's your lights. There you go. So that's basically the deal. Thanks for joining me. This was a big project, so I'm happy it's sort of done for the time being. I'm sure there'll be improvements in the future. We'll get to that when we get to it. So thanks for stopping by. Like and subscribe if you like crazy, weird projects, and talk to you later. Peace.